What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. We're out on this Yamaha's MT-03 for 2023. Starting us off in the engine then, we've got 321cc with 41 brake horsepower and 29 Newton meters of torque. We'll see it handles around town a little bit and then we'll get out onto some back roads. Is there really a market for the small 300cc bikes? As we know, most people who's probably looking at a bike like this, it's going to be a very inexperienced new rider to the whole motorcycle world, and that's okay. Like, we need bikes out there that don't intimidate new riders and that they want to get out and get their experience on. But is there other bikes like the CB500F, like a little bit more va-va-voom, and something that's not going to have them lose interest on that bike within the first year? So Zoe, when she first passed her test, she did buy the KTM 390 Duke, and within not even a year, let's say, she outgrew it as a new rider. She needed her experience to keep growing, and she needed to upsize her bike, so that's why she then bought the MT-07. MT-07 is still a good bike for the new riders. It's got enough to keep you interested, but I just don't know about this smaller category bike. I've no doubt there's people out there that will buy these and they'll have them for long term, they'll have them for years. Even the fueling back there, when it was quite slow, I was in a higher gear, I was in third, should have been in second, but actually there was very little joltiness. Now we're into some back roads. Remember, cold tyres, wet ground. So pushing it to the speed limit and these back roads, I am getting some vibrations through the handlebars, and also the rear passenger seat, the passenger seat is touching the back of my bum, and there's some high pitch vibrations coming through there. As you may expect, technology wise, there's very little on this bike. We do have LEDs all around, so that is a nice little touch. We've got this LCD screen which looks like it's from the MT-10 from back in 2017 when I bought mine, and apart from that you've got your basics: kill switch, starter switch, indicators, high beam, and that's it. So with the fueling being spot on, actually it's very easy to ride at the 20-30 mile an hour mark. I'm 6'1", 115 kilos, and ergonomically I feel way too big for this bike. The tank is shaped, but where my knees are sitting, it's not sitting in the shape of the tank, it's sitting at the top part of the tank where it's now fairing out. Don't know if you can see that very well. Like I said, my bum is hitting the passenger seat. I feel very big and very dominant over this bike. Like, have they sized this the way they have because they're expecting the younger new riders to have it, and the older, larger riders to have other bikes? Potentially. Wind protection, we have got a little fairing at the front, but so little that it does nothing. But actually that's not too bad, because it means you get that nice even spread across your top half. There's no strange buffeting on the helmet. Engine sounds very gutless. Your kind of typical small CC bike problem where you need to use every gear to its max if you want to have some fun. Clutch pull is really nice and light, which means changing gears is really easy. Actually going to need it because there's no quick shifter. This bike is going to have 3 different colour options, and that's going to be the black, the blue, or the cyan. The cyan's like the grey, what's this? The grey with the kind of lighter blue wheels. All 3 of those are going to come at the same price range at £6,005. Like I said, is it a lot of money to spend on a first bike that, let's face it, you're probably only going to keep for a year or so? Out of the 3 colour options though, I definitely kind of prefer this one. Just kind of gives it a nice little Nice little edge with the grey with the blue. For a bike of this size, it's got a very modest 14-litre tank. I say that because there's some other full-size bikes out there that have got tanks of a similar size. So with that tank size, sorry, bumped around here. With that tank size and the fuel efficiency of this bike, you're going to get some decent mileage out of it. Without knowing or checking, I'd put money on saying that this is like the MT-07 and it doesn't have a slipper clutch, because when you bang it down and cut the gears and you let the clutch out, the back end definitely gets a little bit squirrely, especially in these cooler temperatures with the wet ground. Again, for man of my size, the handlebars do feel a little bit close together. I would prefer them just a little bit wider. Let's pull in here, have a little walk around. As you'd expect, handling is very easy, it's very light. Ah yes, this will do. Cyan Storm is this colour, just to clarify. We do have 37mm upside down forks at the front, single disc 298mm at the front, and then a 220 at the rear. Braking is lacking, but this is pretty much a brand new bike with like 30 miles on it, so the pads and the brakes aren't broken in properly, but I reckon these brakes would need upgrading if I was to buy this bike. We do have a nice blacked out crash plate underneath. We do have a really low seat height of 780mm. Remember, I'm 6'1". First of all, I can stand over the bike. When I am sat down, obviously there's going to be a really strong bend in the knees. This is the problem I was saying about the tank. Tank cuts it in quite high up, but still my knees hitting right at the top of that. So even though the seat does look very kind of bucket like, the rear passenger seat's quite high, the tank then comes up. Ergonomically, for a man of my size, this is not a good fit. When you are on the bike, you can feel there's like next to no weight on this thing. This thing is 168 kilos, which in the grand scheme of bikes is absolutely nothing at all. And you can really feel it when it's just stationary, kind of the weight between your legs, or when you are moving it around the car park as well. If I was a new rider and I was of my kind of size, I would definitely have to check out this bike at a dealership, because like I said, I'd sit on this and I'd know it wouldn't fit me. I'm too big. But if you are of a smaller size, then you know what, you'll probably fit the grooves of this tank very nicely. Most suspension is underrated for my size, and it's made prevalent on this bike. I am kind of thrown around on it, but again, this bike is designed for the newer, younger riders. It's got enough pep to kind of keep you interested on these back roads. You can do some overtaking. As I've said though, you do need to make sure you use the gears to your advantage. The whole drop a gear, disappear definitely comes into play with this bike. Brakes either need bedding in, or I'd upgrade the pads. And like I said, I just find the handlebars just a little bit too close together for my personal preference and my liking. But any bike that can start getting newer riders into the game, keep biking alive, is worth it. You can do 60 to motorway speeds on this bike. Whether you're going to feel comfortable being on the motorway, that's a different matter. But because it is so light, you can just flick it around, and it's going to be more comfortable than the R3. For me personally, I think you need to have a bike that's your first bike, that's something you're going to keep for more than a year. My fear is that most of the 300cc bracket bikes, you're going to kind of lose interest quite quickly. But hey, if it's a stepping stone to you gaining experience and confidence on the road, then you go for it. I The good thing as well, because it's nice and small, you can do some filtering. Well guys, that has just been a quick ride and review of the Yamaha MT-03 for 2023. If you either enjoyed this video or found it helpful, give it a thumbs up. More importantly, subscribe to the channel. I review bikes weekly, and we've got camping trips and some touring coming up for the channel. There's nothing else to say, but until the next one, ride safe.